You know, I just thought I'd jump on her for a sec with you saying how her right canter wasn't feeling very good. Yeah. Okay. I haven't ridden her in quite a while, so I just want to have a feel for it before we get into it. So where did you get those half taps?
Greenhawk.
Perfect. Nice ones.
They're pretty big, so they fit Ren too.
Ah, perfect.
So I can go.
Yeah. I think my student Nicole has those ones, and she's had them for like 6 years or something. They seem to be pretty long lasting, so hopefully they'll survive the boys for a little while. Hey, Miss Blaze. Sweaty mama. My hair is all out of control in my eyes. Just with these girths, be careful. It was kind of like that. And then you get that you get that ridge, so you just want to kind of make sure it's lying flat. Other side. Yep. Yeah, those eyes are really calling me like that. Come on, Mama. Okay, so while I'm getting on and getting a feel, I want you to tell me a little bit about what you've done in your warm-up. So tell me what you started with.
Started with a walk and
Yeah.
trot, and then some sitting trots and stuff like that.
What kind of trot were you working in?
Fast, going like up and down, so she wouldn't get lazy and like get used to it. So I went like fast to slow. Same with the canter. On the left lead, it was really easy, but on the right lead, if I really tried to get her down, it could still be at kind of a fast pace.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just gonna ask her slowly to come on the bit as well, and I haven't been riding her for weeks, so she is going to be a little frustrated as I start to ask. She's going to be like, wait a minute, this is not my world, and I'm just going to remind her that yes, it is. You know how to do this. And the other thing I should have started with is a stick, right? Because I need to have a little bit of a backup plan if she gets resentful and resisting. I'll have to pardon my voice today. I've been sick, so my voice is a little odd sounding. So with her, I would always carry a stick, and that's just so sometimes she doesn't want to give her full effort, and we need to be able to remind her as well that she needs to respond to the question that's asked, right? Doing nothing is not an answer, so she's allowed to make a mistake, like if I ask her to go forward and she breaks into trot, that's an okay mistake to make. So it's sort of an interpretation issue, but at least I asked her to go forward and she went forward. If I ask her to go forward and nothing happens, then I need to be very quick about upping the ante and getting a reaction, right? Getting a response. Leo, while you're there, if you don't mind, there's some manure on the rail here, and there's some manure just behind that flower box. If we can get those two spots cleaned up, that would be awesome. If she speeds up, I slow her down. If she slows down, I push her forward. In terms of her head position, I'm not micromanaging it. I'm sort of just making my request or making my aids basically be neutral, and then if she pushes up against them, I'm just giving her a half halt so that she meets a little bit of a resistance backwards. And if she curls too low, I'm just nudging her forward with my leg to try to push her nose back up again. But those are pretty minor adjustments that I'm making. For the most part, I'm saying, here are my hands, here are my legs, where are you going to go?
Microphone.
Already getting warm. So a lot of it is about kind of increasing or decreasing your volume, right? When we talk about training horses, we're talking about pressure on, pressure off, and there's a lot of gray area. When you teach a baby horse how to stop, for example, you would ask them to whoa, and then you would really exaggerate, right? When the whoa, then you would say, okay, good, there's no pressure here, right? And then you say, okay, walk on, and use your legs, yay, right? So legs and go, hands and stop. When you're riding a more advanced horse or a more highly trained horse, there's lots of subtleties and combinations of those aids, but we still need to make sure the priorities are still about going and stopping and always listening, right? The horse needs to be open-minded and ready to interpret what we're asking. So here she's already coming a little more steady into the contact. We're not seeing as much variation with her coming over bent and then sticking her head up. There's a bit of a head up. I'm kind of ignoring it. My hands are staying put. I'm keeping my legs strongly there. And now here when she's getting a bit strong, I'm going to move the bit in her mouth gently and say, well, there's nothing for you to hang on to. The bit is moving gently, so you can't lean against it. So that's like you would do with your bending aids, right? When you're just vibrating that inside rein and asking her to be submissive. And again here, you see, trying to keep my hands fairly still. Do these trot pulls at all, Leo, in your warm-up? Good. Okay, so she made a little mistake there with her sequence. I didn't help her very much. I just said, oh, here's a straight line. Your trot should be normal. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing again and see if she figures it out a bit better. Good. Okay, so talking about training, we train opposites, right? So there I asked her to canter. Instead of cantering, she just ran really fast. So I'm going to say, okay, instead of running really fast, you're actually going to have to stop and back up, which is like the opposite to running fast and going forward. So now I would ask again, and again, if she gives me an undesirable reaction, I'm going to train the opposite. Okay, so there she's much more on her game. Again, I'm not going to help her too much here, just straight. And even with a spook before the pull, she got her footwork right that time. Not so smooth. And if you've ever sat on a horse bareback and the horse is eating grass, when their head is down, they're very comfortable to sit on. Their back is nice and round underneath you. And then when they put their head up to look at something, their back gets very pointy all of a sudden. And it's not very comfortable. And that's an extreme example to go from eating grass to looking up at something, but that's sort of the same thing that happens when we're riding. When the head is relaxed down, like they're going to grab a bite of grass, the back is more round and relaxed under you. When the head comes up, the back muscles stiffen, and usually the horse is a little more alert in that upright position as well, so that they're a bit stiffer mentally. Of course, goes to the muscles, just like you and I, right? If we're worried or uptight or stiff in our brains, then our bodies get stiff too. Slow. Good girl. So here, I'm just giving her a little pluck every so often when I feel her start to get behind my leg. Pardon my heavy breathing because I'm sick. I swear I'm not usually this unfit. So again, when she puts her head up and starts to slow down, I'm just going to nudge her forward and ask her to keep her nose forward out in front of her like it is now. Good girl. So most of the conversations that I had with her happened in the walk, right? And then we needed to have a couple of talks as we went along. Like the first time I asked her to canter to the right when she ran. Right away I stopped her, I wasn't mad. I just said, no, that's not what we're doing. You can see that I never want the trot to be fast or rushed. So even in your warm-up, I don't want to see you practicing fast trot. I want to see you practicing big trot. Okay, so if I push her bigger, so there she makes a mistake, right? And she breaks to canter. So I'm just going to settle her back down again. I say, no, we're not going faster. And here she's being rude, so I'm going to circle and bend. Okay, I didn't get done in the circle what I wanted to, so I'm going to circle again. Good. Good. There we go. Now I'm happy with my circle. I'm going to ask her for a bigger trot again. Good. And there I get a reaction without her speeding up. Now I'm going to bring her back to a smaller trot step. I could do that sitting or rising. And ask her to go forward again. Good girl. And come back. Good girl. Here I'm reminding her about not going fast, but she still has to be in front of my leg. Good, so that when I ask for something, she's ready. I just lost her attention there as I relaxed my leg. So I'm going to do that again. So I don't like how she feels. I'm going to circle. She's really pulling on me. I'm going to say, hey, work harder. Don't make me work so hard. Bend. Turn. Softer. Good. Don't like it. Circle. Good girl. Good girl. Now there she offered a really nice stretch. I'm going to see if I can get her stretch a little lower. Good girl. Well, this is something she doesn't have a lot of experience with. She just offered to stretch, so I'm like, okay, let's play with that idea. Good girl. Come. Pay attention. Good girl. This is what I want. She needs to hold a rhythm, listen to me, not get ahead of things, and not start to try to walk and fall behind my leg. course, we know with her the right side's a little harder, so no surprise. It's taking her a little longer this rein to relax into the stretch. Good girl. Good girl. So I'm going to finish in the walk. She's not allowed to root the reins away. They're generously long right now, but I'm still keeping a contact. Now, of course, I would never go to a jump in this position, right? I'd never have my hands back here going to a jump. Right now, I have my hands back here sometimes because the reins are really long. When she puts her head up, I'm able to still feel her mouth. And then as her head goes down, I've got lots of room to allow my arm to go forward and reward her for that. And this is more of a warm-up and a cool-down kind of a frame, right? It's not a working frame. But again, as we ask her to be an athlete, she needs to sort of develop herself to be flexible as well as have fitness. Good girl. So there, I just gave her a little more rein. She asked politely. If she had rooted the reins away, I would not have given my hand. That's it. Okay. So I thought the right lead was quite good once we had some conversations about not being rude, right? So I'm pleased with that. It doesn't worry me as much as if she was still struggling after we had had a conversation about it. Okay, if you grab her, I'm just going to put the stirrups up too, if you got two on your side. I'm very, very sad not to have Haley on a good horse in my barn, but I'm excited to have my horse back soon. I'm not quite sure when I'm going to find the time to ride him, but I'm going to make it a priority. Okay, so Leo, I don't expect that you're going to have her on exactly the same kind of frame and so on that I did. What I do want to see as we start to develop your skill set is recognizing the moments where she's speeding up or slowing down, asking her to change the thing, like if she's speeding up, ask her to slow down. If she's slowing down, ask her to go forward. Okay? So you need to recognize it, then you need to ask for something to change, and then you need to get an answer to your request. Okay? And that's me paraphrasing what David O'Connor was talking about in his clinic, right? He was very, very adamant about that sort of sequence where the rider has to recognize whatever the challenge is, ask the horse to correct it, and then make sure they get a reaction, right? If you say, oh yeah, she's going too fast, so I'm going to ask her to slow down, and nothing happens, well, obviously, the problem is not fixed, right? We need to make sure that she's willing and ready to listen. And then for you, the skill set is about what you need to do to get her to listen, right? What I found when I was on her just now is, for the most part, we need to be super consistent. And she's sort of staying in this medium range of speed and contact and everything else. When she starts to push past that, you need to be pretty firm and pretty clear that that's not allowed, okay? So for example, if you're coming around through the turn, let's say like where Binky is, and then all of a sudden she starts to lean on your hand, I would right away shake her off that rein and do a circle like you saw me do. And did you kind of watch those circles where there was one where I didn't leave for 3 circles? Okay? And that's because I said, oh, okay, I don't like this feeling. I'm going to do something about it. When I went to do something about it, nothing changed. I said, well, I know I'm asking you in a way that should make sense. I know what I'm asking for, and I'm just going to keep asking, right? And then because it's not like she was doing anything really terrible. She just wasn't giving me her best effort. So I just stayed on that circle and said, no, here's my leg, here's my bending rein, nothing is changing. What are you going to do? Are you going to keep fighting or are you going to give in? And it took her 3 whole circles before she was submissive and thought, okay, well maybe I'll just try doing it. And then the pressure came off and we went straight, right? So there's her reward. You put her in the pressure cooker, she needs to go, oh, okay. And then she gets a reward right away after. Okay, so that's a long way for me to say if you need to do something like circle or halt, I want you to go ahead and do that. And then make sure you get the reaction you're after. I talk with this a lot with riders doing serpentines, right? The whole idea with the serpentine is to get the horse bending and submissive and easy around your leg, okay? So if you come across on a serpentine loop and the horse goes like this into the next loop, well, you've missed the point, right? So there's no point in continuing if you didn't have a good right bend here. Why would you go ahead and bend left? That's almost like rewarding a poor bend, right? So instead, I would just say, okay, circle, get that bend worked through, and then once you have her nicely here, then say, oh, lovely, why don't we do something different, right? And then you go into the new bend. Okay, so let's go ahead working trot. We're going to try to speed through this flat work session because, of course, we want to jump, and I've just hogged up part of your time, but I think it's good every so often for you to see me on her as well. So first priority is a working trot rhythm and a stable contact point. So that's going to start from you, right? With 2 long, clear legs and 2 even feeling hands and elbows. Good. Now I want you to post just a little bit smaller and have her come forward from the lower leg. That's right. That's right. Make sure that you're not making a bigger effort than she is. And ultimately, we're asking her to respond to the leg. The seat definitely is part of it, right? But if you're posting high and hard and she's not trotting very well, we know that she's not actually listening very well to that. Good, I love it. Okay, so now just do a circle just to test if she does bend easily for you. And canter transition. Nice. Good. Now try not to push with your seat, right? Sit light. Good. Make sure your elbows are sliding the same way her neck is going. Sometimes it looks like you resist against her just when she needs to stretch her neck forward, right? And if you were to half-halt this canter, you'd be half-halting as the neck's coming up to you, right? As the horse is coming up underneath you, it should be now, 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 right? In the moment where she's down a hill, it doesn't make a lot of sense to resist her then because her balance is not in the optimum form, right? So when she's rocking back, then you're going to say, okay, a little bit more, a little bit more. Good, circle there and test her obedience and the yield and the bend. Little more horse, little more oomph. And across the diagonal, simple change through trot. Look up, Leo. Yeah, planning ahead, feeling what's underneath you, and planning ahead for the next thing. Good. Good. Now she looks a little rude against you. Circle, work that through. Good. Good. Stay on the circle and trot transition. Now close your outside leg, push her hip in. Feel how she's going sideways there. Outside leg back, get her hips to come into your circle and slow down. Oh, really? That's how you're dizzy? Slow down, Leo. Well, that makes sense. What did she say about the stitches?
I got an X-ray and swab done and blood work.
Do they have to re-sew it together? So, okay, I'll talk to you more. Good, Leo, and drop your stirrups. Good, now make sure that you're going with her, right? That there's no bracing against her resistance, right? Soften your seat. So right now, with no stirrups, your bum is still coming up out of the saddle, okay? So that tells me that you're too strong somewhere else. Relax those hips. That's right. Slide your hip. Follow the saddle. That's right, okay? Because if your seat is going up and down when she's cantering, that means that you're stiff either in your hip flexors or too stiff in your abs. There we go. Right? And then you're accidentally going to be creating resistance because you're pulling against her. Sit. Let your hips slide. Good. And take your stirrups back. Now keep sitting just like you are. And now this is going to change how you feel your seat bones against the saddle. I want you to look up into the ceiling. Look way up. Can you feel how that changes your sitting? Yes. Like totally different. Now look straight, but keep your seat like that. Okay? Good. Good. So make sure that you're not getting stiff in your body, and then you're going to start to rock. This is something I've been working on myself for a long time. So we need to be strong and flexible, just like we're asking our horses to be. Get your stirrup more forward on the ball of your foot. And trot transition, Leo. And you're going to trot behind me, just like you saw me do. Turn through the middle and over the trot poles. So straight, rhythm. Good, I like her contact there. Got a nice foamy mouth. Let's come to your trot poles again. Slow the rhythm here. Make sure she's not pulling you any faster. Straightness, outside leg back. Okay, we're gonna come again. She needs to figure that out. Those are pretty similar lengths of poles in there, right? So she shouldn't fit 2 whole steps in one and one in the others. Good trot here. How's that? Good contact point. Now just keep your legs and ride a straight line. Good, better. And canter transition. I liked how straight an exit you rode there, Leo. Good for you. Now go straight. Look up into the ceiling. You're already sitting better, though. Good, good. And look straight again. Look in front of you. So your arms are going forward now, 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 right? As her neck is pushing forward, your elbows are going forward. That's right. Feel like there's elastic bands or bungee cords from your upper arm to your lower arm. Good, good. I like how you're not letting her speed up. Good. Good catch. And circle. Now think about your right bend. Looking up, Leo. I want to see your helmet brim up. Good. Good. And across the diagonal, simple change through trot.
Canter.
Yeah. Left bend. Good. Good. Nice. Think of how you're sitting. Feel your seat bones, just like when you're looking up. Yeah. Good. Good. Lovely. Big difference in how you're sitting. Good. Okay, and trot transition. Good. Awesome. And walk break. Good. And give her a nice pat. She's got a nice foamy mouth now. She's getting a little bit softer. She's still every so often getting heavy in your hand, huh? But not so. Do you feel a difference at all? Yeah? Okay. Awesome. And then that exercise where you ride like this is amazing, isn't it? Because instantly you're like, whoa, that's not what I felt a second ago. And that's actually the kind of connection we want to have in our seat bones. And it just goes to show how much, like, all you're doing is tilting your chin up, 20 degrees. So it goes to show how much difference the horse is feeling when we tip down 20 degrees, right? Like you see that sometimes in where the rider is riding and then they go, and the horse will stop, right? Because all of a sudden the communication between horse and rider just had a change right when they thought they needed some support. So when I was watching you warm up earlier, I was happy with what I saw, but one thing I noticed is in the canter, there's a little too much motion up and down. So what that means is like your seat bones are going like this. Okay, so the saddle is here and your butt's kind of lifting up and down when you're sitting. So what that tells me is that she's pulling you, right? Now it takes two to pull. So if you can make yourself more giving, more relaxed, right? And then if you're here and relaxed and she does go to pull, then again in that upbeat of the canter you can go no, and then you're back to being relaxed again. Okay? But if you're stiff and she's stiff, then it becomes the tug-of-war thing. Right? Okay. Let's see here. Did I tell you about Blaze's amazing handstand move the other day? In the bounce?
No.
I've never seen a horse do this. I was like actually impressed with her talent because Emma was jumping a bounce, right? And I think we had jumped one jump and then we came around again and I put the second one up. And she landed off the first one, spooked at the second one, and with her butt still up in the air, she paused, right? So she was like doing a handstand and then she went like this and then she jumped it. So there was like this moment where she was like, her legs were in the air like this, her weight's down, and she went, and then she jumped it. So it was pretty amazing actually. I was like, I don't even know how that was possible, Blaze, but good job. Right? You're a handstander.
Did she ride it well?
Yeah, Emma was fine. She just was like, oh, what just happened? I'm like, I've never seen that before. Okay, Leah, we're gonna get ready to come through this line. It's gonna be pull, so pull, half a step, jump, and then all the way down, and then jump and pull. So you're bouncing in from the pull to the jump, and you're bouncing out from the jump to the pull. And I want you in the middle to tell me how many strides you get, just as good practice. So let's start this on the right. So when you're riding into this, you're going to be counting your rhythm to the pull, and then the jump is just going to fall into place after the pull because you've ridden a nice canter on a nice track to the pull, so the jump becomes easy. Okay, so pick up your canter, make sure you like your canter. Same canter to the pull, jump, tell me how many strides, and then you're just jumping out, bouncing the pull. Maybe she'll do her handstand demonstration again, but I don't think so. I would do it again. So you corrected it, but here you need to correct where her hips hips are, right? This is the direction where we need to have her hips almost into the circle. That's right. Good for you. Love it. Okay, you got your lead. Now circle and work the bend. Okay, so it was actually 6. So you might have just started your count a stride late, or you got excited and left the stride out in your head coming in. But I'm really happy that the canter coming in, you stuck with it. You had a little bit of a short distance to the pole, but you rode it beautifully, and you didn't change your mind about the canter. So we're gonna set that up again. Think about her hips in and canter. It's okay. So make sure hips are in and she's looking in, right? Which way is her eye going? I would do that again. Trot a circle with good bend. Get her hips in there. Which leg do you need back and on? Which leg? Back and on. Slow down, Leo. Slow way down. When you have a problem to work through, adding speed or allowing speed to get added generally just magnifies and makes your problem that much worse. Right? So we want to fix it with taking the speed away. Just stay there, Larry. Good. Good. Excellent. And a better lead change that time. Good. Now trot a circle and work on your bend. Vibrate that inside rein. Keep her hips in. Half halt. Speed control. Speed control. There we go. Now make a small circle. Half halt. See how she's speeding up again. Speed control. Keep the hips in. Outside leg is back and on. There we go. Half halt. She just sped up again. I hope you're feeling that. Now we need to work on doing something about it a little bit quicker. That's right, Leo. Okay, let's walk a sec. Before we continue, and there's good work happening here, but I just like to see your stirrups shorter before we jump more, so we need to roll them, I think, huh? So how many strides did you get last time in the line? Perfect, that's what I want again. Good decision. Make sure she's not getting behind your leg, right? So it's that line. We don't want her to be fast, but she's not allowed to crawl along and start not listening either. Patient. Get the hind leg. Look up, child. Holy smokes. Pull your outside rein back. There you go. Good, Leo. Okay, walk a sec. So how many strides that time? 7. And where I thought, oh, he might get one too many, was before the pole. I think he got one too many. You know what I mean? So you were working, you had the right idea to not let her speed up to the jump, right? But it almost went too far the other way. So then she was kind of not going anywhere. Okay, so you needed just a little more regular canter to the pole. Having said that, that would still have allowed you to do 6 if you had allowed her to go a little bit more, right? Because she was so short and slow here, then she landed short and slow down the line, okay? So if you have a little mistake like that at the pole, you can still make up for it by just pressing her forward in the line. Okay, so let's come again. So it may come up totally differently this time, right? Your goal is to set your best canter, your best track, right? And then if you need to make adjustments, you're recognizing them and making those adjustments in the moment. So make sure here you've got rhythm. She's in front of your leg, right? Not slow, not fast. Good. Now count your step. 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good, Leo. Good, Leo. Nicely done. And trot and walk and praise her. And that time you finish your lead change without her speeding up and without her losing her balance. Okay, and the time I squawked at you a little bit about look up was here when you were looking down for the lead and she was speeding up, right? So you need to be looking up and feeling what's happening under you to make the best adjustment for it. Okay, so we'll let her fully catch her breath, and then we're going to come up the line the other way. I'm going to leave those up so it's bouncing in 6 strides and then bouncing out. I want you to think about, Leo, when you're sitting with your hips bent, okay? Just so that in the line you're not coming back and then having to go forward at the jump, right? Your hips are already bent. She's going to jump up, she'll jump down. You're in a good position to be in 2-point already. That when you get to the jump, you just have to, it's just natural that she's going to allow, or that she will lift you up a little bit and close your hips if your hips are in a closable position. Okay, Leo, let's go ahead and do this off the left now. So choose your good canter. Your last canter in was great. So now we've got to set that same kind of length of stride, the same kind of pace, and we'll do it off the left. So what do you think about this trot here? So I would keep trotting, right? Because we don't really have a good trot yet. She's not stepped into a good length of stride yet. Good, it's coming. Good, and canter. Good. Sitting with your hips bent. 1, 2, 1. Okay, walk a sec, Leo. So I thought you sat better up the line. So she tells me that we didn't quite get her in front of the leg back here in the trot, right? She showed it up in the line. Oh no, I'm really not listening to the leg all that well. And then when you get here on stride 6 is not the time to kick, right? Because you don't really want her to leave the ground from here, right? If you get here on stride 6, the 6 is out the window. It's no longer an option. You need to do 7 now. So you just keep your hips bent, keep your leg on, support her with your leg, and do the last stride. Make sure you don't get ahead of her. Okay? Where the 6 needed to happen was on landing when she feels a bit sluggish, right? Pressure off, hands forward, leg says go, get just a little bit more horse earlier. Okay? So what we're going to do now down there is in your trot and in your canter, I want you to use your stick once.
Okay.
Now I say once, there's no golden rule, right? Make sure at some point when you don't get a full reaction, you're going to use your stick. And then we should have her a little more attentive to what the leg means for her exercise here. So now squeeze your legs, and does she go? And if not, she's going to get the stick again. Good. And canter. Squeeze, does she go? 1, 2, 1, 2. Good. Keep your hands forward. Good. Now gallop away. Gallop. Gallop. Slowest gallop ever. Oh well, so much for that idea. Why did I want you to gallop, Leo? Yeah, because she just fell out from under your leg here like a pile of poop. You had a great canter. Hello, horsey, wakey, wakey, right? You landed, you had your leg on. You had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bleh. Nothing. Okay, so she needs to get in trouble for that. It needs to be like, I would have sticked her if I was on her myself. I don't like the bleh feeling very much. Okay, so you did a much better job there. And I thought you were quite on top of getting the 6 strides done. Let's come again. Quick corrections. And anytime with me, if I have a horse that loses it, or makes no effort like she did, I would right away go forward and get a big forward reaction. And you can always squish the big forward reaction back together, but you can't go forward out of no reaction. Good, Leo. Good, Leo. Better. Good, now gallop. Gallop. Good, and settle her back and go to your jump. That's okay, circle first, we lost the lead. Now look at your jump, keep your hands smooth in front of you. Fine, go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Good, okay, walk break. Better. So, in terms of your roll up there, you have to be very disciplined that you don't put the brakes on by accident in here. Right? Interestingly, because we think of the left generally as her better side, I'm a little bit surprised that she's slowing down and taking the long or the add option in this line when the other way it looked so easy for her. Certainly the 6 is there and doable, and so she's just testing whether you're paying attention and whether you're on the job as well. If you are, like you were the last 2 times, then she gives it to you quite nicely. Okay, we're going to add the oxer coming out here. The ride in is the same. The 6 needs to get done. Right? Can't be wishy-washy. And now you've got the little oxer coming out. Okay, Leo. Good. Look over your shoulder. Come on. Best trot, best canter. And I would trot and set that up again. Forward, attentive, off your leg. And I don't mind if she makes a couple mistakes, right? But she has to be thinking the right thoughts. So just keep trotting until her brain settles into the work, right? We're not cantering anytime soon, not until you feel you like your trot. Good. Good. It's coming up the line there. Lovely. I love it. Good. Good, Leo. Really happy to see you go to your stick there with some authority. Probably could have even gone to it just on the shoulder earlier, right, when you start to feel her do this. But I'm really happy you went to it behind the leg when she thought about stopping. Okay, so now praise her. Good, and come right up that line again. Now, good trot, good canter. So don't be in a hurry to get the trot done. We're not going to canter until the trot is lovely. Good. Right? Because there's no shortcut. Sooner or later it catches up with you. Lovely. Praise her. Good girl. Okay, she gets a walk break. Good. Well ridden. I'd like to see your release just a little more generous through the bounce and on landing. Make sure there's no restriction of the stride because you're still finding that you're getting there a little bit long, right? And she's not speeding up. If anything, we call it sucking back, right? It's when you feel like they're like this, going a little bit away from the jump instead of to the jump. So because she's sucking back a little bit, you've been good with your leg. I'd like you to be just a little more generous with your hand saying, here you go. Go that way. Right? No brakes. The brakes aren't there to bother you. Okay, Leo, we're going to finish the little course. Just let her have a little peek at that green box because we don't mind showing it to her. It's a brand new course. Now, having said that, if she's in front of your leg and listening, we shouldn't have to show her anything, right? She should, if you say go, she should go. But she is still green and we don't like to surprise her either. So there's a bit of a work in progress with that. Okay, so your new course is you're going to do your line with the 6 strides to the little oxer. Then you're going to go straight to the end, do a roll back over the cross rail. So you're jumping this cross rail, turning right. Okay, so you've come around, jump the cross rail, turning right. So you're going to be on this kind of track. Look up for your green oxer. And then as soon as you line up with it straight, right over the center of the green oxer on the little diagonal. Okay? So around and over the oxer. Okay? When you land off the oxer, I want you to land, get your trot back before the corner, and then trot a circle with her like this. Okay, with her really bent and really around your left leg, and she probably is going to be fast, and you're just going to need to slow it down and keep asking for the bend until you're happy with it. Okay? Oh, you got some work to do. Go, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good thing you did. Now be businesslike. Look up. I'm going to come to the green oxer there, Leo. Good, Leo. 1, 2, 1, 2. Good. Good girl. And you were in a nice position there. Now vibrate the left rein. Slow it down and praise her right away. What a good girl. Very obedient there. Good girl. And she made a wonderful effort at the oxer and then still came back to you nicely into the trot. So that's That's really good to see. Now, the only criticism I have of that course is that your initial canter wasn't the right canter, was it? And you had her listen enough that she jumped the bounces quite well, but I think you were setting yourself up to possibly have a bit of a difficult ride into that line, right? And then you had to work hard up the line as you felt. Okay, so we're going to do our same course again with a better, more forward-thinking canter to start with. Okay, and then the same course. Thank you. Yep. This one's kind of broken. Let me just check it. Don't step on them, Echo. They might turn to dust. Good. Keep your arm loose. Work the bend, but keep the good canter. 1, 2, 1. Good. Look. Yeah, good girl. Now cross. Good, Leo. Work the bend, though. Work the bend, work the bend. Left bend. Give away your outside rein a bit. Give away your outside rein. That's right. Good, and praise her and walk. Good. So the mix-up here at the oxer is just that you've been telling her slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down, and then you say, go, at the end, right? And she's like, I thought we were slowing down. Okay, so a little mix-up there. When you are giving your horse a consistent message, that message needs to stay the same to the jump, right? So if you've been telling her slow down all the way here, then the last stride you need to go, oh, slow down and jump the jump with my leg on, right? And it's not even really so much about slow down in the last stride, it's just about compress and jump the jump, okay? So, I think you are a little bit conservative over the cross rail. You didn't even really go to 2-point there, you kind of just stayed where you were. This can be a little bit smoother, and you don't need to take away all of her speed, right? You just need to keep her on that happy medium of canter. So we're going to do this one more time. Make this into a little bit bigger jump. And now, the getting the bend part does not mean that your canter needs to slow down to nothing, right? Ribs, neck, and then of course you're slowing her down if she's fast, but you're only slowing her down into the canter that you wanted to start with, right? Just be careful you don't go beyond that point. Okay, Leo, one more course. Just set that up again, Leo. Make sure you're not too tight on your outside rein, right? It's hard for her to bend left when you're pulling on the outside right rein. Energy, forward energy, so she doesn't unleash it out the side. Good decision. Good with your outside rein. Yeah, I like what you're thinking. That's right? She's all bottled up. She's going up and not forward. So now you're giving her a bigger trot to get her forward thinking back. Perfect. And what a difference in her trot. So a good decision there. Good. She just had a little spook at the sound there of the dirt hitting the jump. So we're not bothered by that, right? Honest mistake and canter. Look at your jump. Is this your best canter? Smooth 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lovely. We're just going to jump towards you, Crystal, and then the green oxer. Good. Look at your jump. Smooth 2, smooth 2. Good. Exactly. So that you never get too strong with your half halt. Good, Leo. Good. Much more regular sort of canter on that course, right? We didn't have the big and then the small, right? We want to have her working in what I call an on-course canter, where she's got enough canter to jump the jump without having more speed than you want to deal with. Good. So a nice pat and a scratch for her, and we're going to do the last 2 jumps again and just see if she'll keep that rail up. I think she was probably just a little surprised at the height difference from the last round. So just start up where Lori is there. Nice, Lori. Good, lovely. Keep your hands up in front of you. Be patient. Yes, Leo, good job. You feel how much it feels easier when your canter is right. Okay, and that's why as riders we're always working at finding our best canter so that the jumps are as easy as possible. Good, awesome. Good girl, Mama. Okay, so make sure you start your rides with a stick and be quick at the beginning, not to veer, but to make sure that you've got her listening and going forward, right? And you can always have a little too much horse and then settle her back down again. But if you need to have more horse and you ask and nothing happens, like you're kind of stuck, right? It's really hard in that moment to create anything when you've got no reaction. You can always have a little too much reaction and bring it back. Okay, so that's sort of what I would say with her is as you're experimenting with how much is enough, a little too much is better than not enough. That makes sense? Okay, good, awesome. Good girl. She jumped the stink out of that oxer a couple times, eh?